Sheets are one thing you don't want to skimp on. Sure, you don't really see them when you make your bed, but as my interview today, Alan Jessamine, the creative director here at Anakini, said, you don't just sleep in your sheets, which means you want to get a good set. And that's what we're going to learn how to do. I'm hitting the road, searching for answers and finding great design. It's a quest for beauty, function, and of course, inspiration. I'm sure you've heard it before. The higher the thread count, the better the sheet. But apparently, that's just a myth.
Thread count is only one part of sheeting, and originally thread count was developed really for just percale sheets. Percale is a flat weave with basically the thread structure. It's kind of like a basket weave, like when you were in grade school and you made those little placemats out of the construction paper and you wove over under. That's what percale sheeting is. So that's something where you can tell something about the quality of the sheets by counting the number of threads per square inch, because the pattern's very regular. It's just over and under. So a 200 thread count percale is good. 300 to 500 is better, as long as the quality of the yarn is comparable.
But percale is just one type of sheet weave. For all the others, thread count isn't always a good judge of quality. So to avoid getting sucked into the thread count hype, Jessamine gave me 6 tests for selecting the perfect bed sheets. The first is the touch test.
And you really need to touch it. Touch is one of the most important things with sheeting.
Is there a special way to touch it?
Nope. You can do anything you want with it. You can touch it with your hand.
You can do anything.
You can, you might want to take, you definitely want to always take sheets out of the package. You probably want to touch them with your hand and touch one layer of it, not just touching the top of it. And you might want to, because you're going to be resting your head against it, you might want to put it up against the skin of your face, because that's your most delicate skin, and really feel how that feels when you're going to put your head on the pillow.
That might be a bad idea if you're wearing makeup. But moving on, the second test is the hang test.
It's important to feel the different weights. There can be very light sheeting, which some people like, and there can be heavier sheeting that other people like. I personally prefer something that has a bit of crispness to it and is fairly heavy in weight. To me, that just feels more comfortable. We have some wonderful silky satins that'll wrap around you, and to me, especially in the summertime, that's a little too much. You can get a little fidgety in bed with it. It's sort of like,
so satins drape around your body?
Yes. Yeah, most of them.
And they're softer than the percale?
Yes. Yep.
And the percale are more that crisp, hard sheet that you think of?
Exactly.
And it more forms a layer over you? It doesn't fit your body?
Exactly, yeah.
The third test is the crumple test, which basically boils down to, do you care if your sheets wrinkle easily?
Take a piece of it and crumple it up with your hand to see, does it wrinkle easily? Because, it's like clothing. Some things, wrinkle more easily than others, and you might have a preference about that you don't even realize. But you want to know, you want to have an idea of what's going to happen when I put this in my washing machine and I take it out to put it back on my bed for the first time. And just by crumpling that up, you'll get an idea of how the fabric reacts, because unfortunately, it's not always going to be professionally pressed for us and put in the package. We're going to have to deal with that on our own.
Right. Jessamine's fourth test is the climate test, which is all about the temperature of where you sleep. Are there different types of sheets for different weather?
Yes. Within cotton, you can certainly pick lighter or heavier weights for different weather, but there's also the best sheet for warm weather would be a linen sheet, or a linen and cotton blend, because linen breathes better than cotton. So it will release humidity and release heat better to keep you cool. So that's good for warm weather or warm climates. Then if you live in a cold climate, or live someplace where it gets cold in the wintertime, or you keep your bedroom very cool, no matter where you live, silk sheets or silk blend sheets could be really good, because silk insulates better than the other fibers. So that will keep you warmer.
If you do decide to go with cotton, there are many different types, and as Jessamine taught me, there's a definite best.
And the best quality of cotton yarn is Egyptian cotton because it has a long, smooth staple, which is the thread structure. It's
means the thread goes very long?
Very long. There will always be, because cotton yarn is spun from shorter pieces, and the longer those short pieces are, the smoother the yarn. And Egyptian cotton has the longest pieces.
And the smoothest finish then.
Smoothest finish.
Which feels really nice against the skin.
Feels wonderful against the skin.
The fifth test is the mood test. How does the color affect your mood?
Different people react differently to darkness in colors. Some people just want white sheets. To me, white sheets are a little institutional. You know, they
like
look
a hospital.
Like a hospital or a hotel, which is very nice when you're there, but at home I want something more personal. I like very dark colors, very deep colors, because they darken the whole room. And when you're sleeping, even if maybe you don't have blackout shades on the windows and can make your room dark, if that's what you like, which I kind of do, if you have darker toned sheets on the bed, even when you kind of open your eyes in the morning a little bit, instead of having a bright white right in your face, there's a darker color. So it's easier to sleep, and frankly, I think sleeping is just the best thing in the world.
But since our bed isn't just for sleeping, Jessamine offered one last test, the flattering test. Do your sheets make you look good?
I always joke with people, it's like, well, do you look good in that color?
No, that's important though.
Yeah.
That's really important, because if you're laying in the sheets, you don't want it to clash with your skin.
Exactly. You want it to highlight, your eye color and your hair color. You want to look good in the bed. Because, it's not just for sleeping. We do other things in bed.
All right, it's getting a little too racy now. No.
Yeah.
Check out my website, askthedecorator.com, to discover more about this topic, read informative how-to articles, or watch other videos from my trip. You'll find a variety of helpful decorating advice when you stop by.